ease of the solution. When a company is making an offer to a prospective client or customer, whether for a service or for a product, there's 4 components to this typically. First is the desired outcome or transformation. The second is the probability of accomplishing that desired outcome or transformation. The third is how long does it take, or the time to accomplish this, again, desired outcome. And the fourth, which is sometimes overlooked and the subject of this video, is what is the aggravation, pain, or distraction caused by this process or offering. If all other things are equal, then if there's less pain, less distraction, the value of the offer, the value of the product or service is that much higher. And conversely, if everything else is good, you have a laid out process, you have a laid out timeline, you know exactly what needs to be done, and there's a high probability that the service or offering can accomplish this, but there's a lot of pain, then again, probability of a customer or prospect taking this offer or service is that much lower. And so oftentimes it's this aggravation factor, this distraction factor, that's the linchpin, ultimately, within almost all businesses, as to why a prospect ultimately says yes or says no. Customer bandwidth is often a zero-sum game. In all businesses, your customers or prospects, in many cases, are either other businesses or even in direct-to-consumer situations or retail-oriented situations, are people with jobs and lives, right? So anything you're ever offering them, whether it's a product or a service, is always saying, take your attention away from what you are doing and pay attention to this thing I have to offer you. So immediately the conversation starts off on a point where you're already asking for some of that attention. And therefore, if the product or solution that you're offering says, I need that much more of it, you can rest assured that the probability of them taking that on is going to be very much lower. There's an opportunity cost to everything. So even if you give something away for free, if it requires attention and someone's bandwidth being reallocated from what they were going to focus on to what you have to offer, it still can be a negative. Remember, people always have the option to just keep on living their life as if you never gave them that offer. So in our business, for example, if someone's looking to sell a company, remember, they're always running the company or intricately involved in one way or another with the existing operations and sales, execution, or whatever part of the business, financial, it may be. So therefore, the process of exiting a business, the process of securing capital for a business should not be a distraction that diminishes that company's ability to do any of the other parts, right? Particularly if you're looking to sell a business, the worst time for the performance to slacken a business because of distraction is that process. And therefore, it's inherently important, particularly in our business, and that's why I speak from our own experience, is the importance of minimizing that distraction and minimizing that hog of bandwidth, if you will. And so sometimes when companies try to sell their own businesses or seek their own capital, the challenge is oftentimes the bandwidth reallocation. Conversations typically happen sequentially, one after the other. There's a tremendous amount of information requested. No one really knows what they should be sharing, what they should not be sharing, and they answer all of the questions, ultimately to oftentimes get to a suboptimal outcome and then having to start another conversation. And this becomes a drag on bandwidth and a real distraction over a long period of time. So in our business, when we're looking to provide our service to a prospective company, the way we solve this is A, making the conversations parallel, not sequential. All conversations taking place at the same time through our firm and prospective acquirers or capital providers, and pushing forward in a lockstep parallel manner, avoiding the one conversation starting, the next conversation starting, and so on and so forth. The second is controlling the flow of information, knowing exactly what should be shared, when it should be shared, and not hiding negative information, but when it comes to granularity, when it comes to certain detailed information that's best suited for a formal diligence process, knowing when to say to an acquirer or prospective capital provider, listen, this is the information we have right now, we're not looking to create a distraction for ownership, and therefore this is the information we can share right now, and it should be adequate to at least form a preliminary, whether it's a letter of intent, offer, term sheet, etc. Therefore, it's our objective in all of our engagements to get from engagement to offers with 10 hours of our client's time. Most of that predominantly is spent just gathering materials and getting it to us and allowing us to facilitate the process from there. Having all the other variables put together, knowing what the optimal outcome is, having a high probability of achieving that outcome, knowing the timeline, in our case 100 days to getting to those offers, but the linchpin, again the important part, is the lack of distraction. 10 hours of our client's time. And so when we're analyzing businesses of our clients and other situations that we're involved in, we look for these same 4 things because you can see it in almost every business. They have an offer of some sort, whether it's a service or a product. They have a customer base that they are offering this solution to. And then you can break it down. What's the desired outcome? What's the probability of achieving it? How quickly can it be achieved? Most importantly, what is the distraction? Or alternatively, what is the ease of the solution? It's a key part of our process here. We've experienced it over and over and over again, and therefore we wanted to share it with everybody today. Hope the week continues to go well. Keep pushing forward. God bless. We'll see everyone next time.